Hi everyone, Amanda here with Moses and Me Card Company. Today I thought I would showcase the cards that we create using the Create and Quad layering stencils from Tailored Expressions. This particular one is called the Flit and Flutter, and you can see it creates 4 card panels that have things that flit or flutter on them. So we've got hummingbirds, butterflies, birds, and a butterfly on some flowers. I also have the Foil It Flit and Flutter package, which gives you some panels that have some toner or toner sheets so that you can foil the outlines of the images. And I also got the cutting plate that goes with it, the other little dies that you can cut out the pieces of the Creative Quad. And there you go. We'll see what we can make with this. Maybe we can make some Mother's Day cards. Stay tuned. All right, everyone. So I was able to make 12 cards with this Creating Quad. So obviously I took 3 of these Foil It sheets and just blended a couple of 3 different varieties of colors. And I used on 2 of them, I used the champagne gold from Tailored Expressions, which is a really pretty champagne gold. And then on one of them, I just changed it up and used a silver foil, so that we just got a little bit of variety here. But I was really surprised when I did this. I really liked how they turned out. I thought the little panels were so pretty, and the first 4, I just really didn't want to cut them up. So I just left them very simple and just kind of slapped these sentiments on them. So for the sentiments, I did use the Foil It Sundry sentiments. This has got a stamp set that goes with it as well. I initially just did the sentiments in the champagne color. And so you'll see on the silver ones, I had to bring in a different sentiment, even though metallics are neutral, as we know. I didn't want to mix the gold and the champagne and the silver together. So I just did the gold ones on the gold cards. And I, of course, have the dies that go with the sundry sentiments. And you can see that I did the reverse foil. But I don't think I used the reverse foil on any of these cards. So anyway, so these are the sentiments that I used for the initial cards. Starting with card 1, these were just blended with some of my Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks. I, of course, mounted, I cut out several layers for the sentiments, so that's like a nice chipboard piece. And I brought in some cardstock that I had in my stash that I thought went nicely with this purple color. And that is, of course, some pattern paper from the Labor of Love card kit that I did from Queen and Company. As you know, I like their colored pattern papers, rather. And just brought that in. I thought that went and coordinated nicely with this color of purple. You'll also notice I have a Love from Lizzie peel off in here. That is these really pretty white and gold peel offs. I don't think she has like the labels, and I don't keep the packaging, so they're just really pretty. I used those in my other card kit that I did this month as well, and I just really liked how those look. So you've got a little bit of gold there, but you have some white in the center of that, so that turned out really nice. So there you have card number 1. For card number 2, same thing. I mounted the foiled sentiment on several layers of cardstock, so it's got some dimension. And this one I just mounted on a pretty kind of bluey purple color that I have in my stash. And just like how pretty, I thought, oh gosh, I could cut these up, but when you cut them up, you lose the little like foiled dots and everything. So I thought, well, I guess I'll use those dies when I just don't do the foil it and just do the colors themselves. Then for card 3, obviously kind of the same idea. Same Love from Lizzie peel offs here. Same pattern paper pack from Queen and Company. And then again, just a sentiment that's been stacked up several times with some cardstock, probably 3 or 4, I think, so that it's got a little bit of dimension. And of course, all these panels are also mounted on some bun foam, so they've got some dimension as well. So that gives them a little bit of interest. I know they're very simple cards. We've got a visitor here. They're very simple cards, but to kind of give them just a little bit more interest, I did want to give them some dimension. For card number 4, same thing. I got a little sentiment that I've mounted on 4 pieces of cardstock so that it's got some dimension. The actual panel itself is mounted on some fun foam so that it's got dimension. And then I just brought in some pretty colors from my cardstock. This is, of course, a sage green from Spellbinders. And that kind of went really nicely with the greens that I had for the hummingbirds. It's just really pretty. I really like the 4 colors that I chose for this initial round. Then I did two more panels of 4, obviously, to get, hang on just a second, let me move you out of the way, excuse me. 2 more panels of 4 to get the 12 cards. But I had to start bringing in some different kind of sentiments. So this is one of the ones that I did in silver. And of course this is done in different ink colors. Again, the main panel is mounted on some fun foam just so that it's got some dimension. The sentiment is also mounted several high so that it's got some dimension. And I brought in one of the hearts from the 49 in Market that I had sitting on my desk from the Simon card kit that I worked on earlier this month, and I thought that just kind of went nicely there. This sentiment is also mounted on some vellum so that it kind of disperses the image behind it a little bit, and I just kind of thought that went nicely with the silver foil that we have on the foilet. This frame was cut out using one of my favorite, I haven't brought it out in a while. It's kind of finicky. That's probably why I don't use it so much. But this is from the Simon Says Stamp Frames die. It cuts out this really nice little frame here. And I think that's just like a really nice size. And then the hello came from a Spellbinders set. It's one of Yana's wonderful script sentiments from Yana Smakula. I think I said that right. But anyway, we all know who she is. So it's got kind of a nice little delicate font. And so there you have card number 5. Oh, it's already starting. For card number 6, again, I'm just kind of used that frames die again from Simon Says Stamp. I really liked how that looked. I ended up not cutting up the papers because they were just so pretty with the foiling. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. I guess I'll have to be brave and do it on one of them and see what I can come up with. But I brought in this frames die again and some gold cardstock that I had in my stash. And then I also brought in a sentiment. This is also from Simon Says Stamp. It's You Brighten My Day. I'm going to be giving these cards to a lady at the church who sends out cards for the card ministry that they have. And so I was trying to think of some cheery cards to kind of give out that would be just kind of encouraging. Things that you would send to people, like not necessarily strangers, but you know, people that you don't know. I guess strangers. That's the right word for that. Again, this is mounted on several layers of cardstock, so it's got dimension, and that's also mounted on a vellum shadow so that it kind of just disperses the image behind it just a little bit. I don't know, I thought these were very simple cards, but they also turned out really pretty, and I just think it's because of the foilets and just the brilliance of these, like creating quads that Tailored Expressions has. Just kind of makes really easy cards. This is, of course, another one of those frames that I got from the frames dies from Simon. Just in a color that coordinated nicely with the blues and the butterflies. This prayers sentiment comes from an old Hero Arts stamp and cut sentiment that I've had for a long time, and it just says, "You're in my prayers." I did the prayers, of course, on several layers of cardstock, and the sentiment here is also mounted on several layers. Everything is, all of these cards, the main panel is mounted on some fun foam so that you can see it's got some dimension as well. Just really pretty simple cards. For the next card, I brought in the other frame in the frames die. This is the scallop frame here. You can see it cuts out a scallop frame and then a middle panel. This one I mounted the frame itself on several layers, so it's got dimensioned, and the main panel is offset. And of all things, I brought in what I consider a Christmas sentiment. This is Snowflake Wishes from Spellbinders, but one of the sentiments is believe all things are possible, which I thought would be a nice sentiment to send to somebody. So there you have card number 7. I think that's the card number we're on, right? Card number 8, I'm sorry. Card number 9, again, I used that same framed die from Simon and mounted that on several layers of cardstock, and also brought in another one of the initial sentiments that I had foiled at the beginning. I just really like how these look, and brought in some more of that sage cardstock. I am continuing with Mother's Day cards. Sorry, ran out of battery there. Like I was saying, I am continuing with Mother's Day cards through the month of May, and just thought that any of these, like you could make the thinking of you or the love you or several of these into Mother's Day cards, I think. They just have like a nice, pretty, they're just very pretty. So this one is, of course, one of the birds, and I brought in a frame from Honeybee. This is, oh boy, I don't know where they put their labels. Lace Heart layering frames. So I cut out this frame 3 or 4 times, and I mounted those so that they've got some dimension. I also mounted my sentiments so that they've got, they're stacked and are dimensional as well. And then the back panel I cut out using the inlay. So I don't know if you can tell, probably not, but if you look really closely, you can see these have got like embossed patterns on the bottom that just kind of add a little bit of detail, and there's some stitching around the edge there. The die that I used to cut out the mom is from Simon Says Stamp. This is that die that I have that doesn't have a label. It came out of a card kit. Give me a second and I'll tell you what that is. Alright, it is the Simon Says Stamp Fancy Mom Wafer Die. I probably should put a label in there so I don't have to look it up each time. And it's not on sale this time, so if you missed out on the sale, too bad for you. Just kidding. And then the secondary sentiment is from a My Favorite Things stamp set. This is their Itty Bitty Love, and it just says, "I simply adore you," which I thought was kind of a sweet little sentiment to put on a card for your mama. So there you have card number 10. Card number 11, I did become brave and cut out my little hummingbirds using the Create and Quad Flit and Flutter coordinating die. The only reason I cut them out is because I knew I was going to keep them with the panel. They have been mounted on some fun foam, so they got like a little bit of dimension. Of course, the hello there has some dimension as well, as I mounted that on several layers. And then I brought in this Spellbinders die. This is called Notched Corner Frames, and I thought that that just kind of nicely highlighted the picture itself. So there you have card number 11. And then for card number 12, again, this is, this one also could be a Mother's Day card. I brought in the fluted classic rectangles to make this frame for this card. That, of course, has been mounted on some fun foam, so it's got some dimension. And then, of course, the panel itself is just flat. And then the You're Amazing also has dimension. So these are just really 12 very simple, very quick cards to make. It was kind of fun just figuring out how to showcase them in different ways. If obviously the first 4, I just used them as they were. And then tried to get a little bit more creative as I went through the others that I made, seeing how I could do it differently. I will have to investigate and just try cutting them up. They're just so pretty with the foilet, so I really think maybe for that I might have to not use the foilet and just do the straight blending, the ink blending. Otherwise I feel bad just kind of cutting out these beautiful little details, like the little foil dot detail that's in all of them. So in any case, I don't know if you guys actually do use tailored expressions or their foilet quads. I think they're a brilliant product. It's nice to get 4 cards in one setting. So if you do, let me know and I can do more of these, or if it's not really your taste, I guess I will not do as many or just do them and post them and let you see them. But in any case, I hope if you do have this quad, this creating quad stencil, that this has given you some ideas of what to do with it, and I look forward to posting our next video. I hope that you guys are having a great May, and I will chat with you all soon. Talk at you soon. Bye-bye.